Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the original food service equipment repair podcast built by technicians for technicians. Whether you're on the front lines of repair, keeping the kitchens running smoothly, or just passionate about food service industry, this podcast is your go-to source for expert insights, tech tips, and real stories from the field. This episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles is brought to you by RIDGID. Some invent to change the world. At RIDGID, we invent for those who build it. In 1923, we invented the modern pipe wrench, and since then, everything that carries a RIDGID name has been designed and crafted for strength, effectiveness, and legacy. We've made it our mission to build for the world's expert tradespeople, those who know the limits of the job and how to exceed them. These tools are known the world over as industry-leading products that allow professionals to complete jobs more quickly and reliably. We celebrate our shared dedication to the trades and promise, as long as you keep going, we'll keep building the tools of performance your work demands. Thanks, RIDGID. Special guest this episode is Loretta Mealer. Loretta comes from Austin Mealer's Restaurant Equipment Services, and she has recently been elected to the board of directors for CFESA. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen. Let's start over again. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. I am back, and we have very special guest Loretta Mealer on. But first, let's get straight to it. This episode is brought to you by my friends at RIDGID. Some invent change the world. At RIDGID, we invent for those who build it. In 1923, we invented the modern pipe wrench, and since then, everything that carries a RIDGID name has been designed and crafted for strength, effectiveness, and legacy. We've made it our mission to build for the world's expert tradespeople, those who know the limits of the job and how to exceed them. Those tools are known to be world over as industry-leading products that allow professionals to complete jobs more quickly and reliability. We celebrate our shared dedication to the trades and promise, as long as you keep going, we'll keep building the tools of performance for work demands. I butchered that. I'm terrible tonight.
So basically, buy RIDGID stuff. It's good.
RIDGID is a great company, man. I toured their facility, and they make a ton of stuff right there in Ohio, Elyria, Ohio, with American products. Some of the stuff is made somewhere else, but they're great tools, man. They started off with that wrench, and they've kind of blown up since then. So let's get down to it. So Rich is back.
Hold on. Before we get started, I just want to say, y'all have probably only seen me get excited about two guests so far, Corey Yates and Josh Zolan.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be guest number 3. I'll probably call it 3.5 since Austin's there in the background, but he's not actively participating. So Loretta and Austin are two people that we met on LinkedIn. I think we met because one of my former coworkers now works with them, and either they reached out to me, I reached out to them, whatever. But they've been huge in giving me guidance and wisdom and support in starting my company and everything I'm doing. So I'm looking forward to whatever you got to say.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm excited for this too. There's several businesses. When you look at people that are celebrating the industry, celebrating their technicians, celebrating their wins, and there's 3 companies that come to mind. And Austin Mealer's Restaurant Equipment Services is one of them, Windy City Equipment, and then Corey Yates at Alpha Omega. Those are the 3 companies that you get on social media and you see them constantly celebrating their guys, showing off their guys, showing off their work. And that is huge to me. And ever since I've been following them, I've been wanting to get them on. And I'm ashamed it's taking this long, but I'm really excited to hear how Loretta got involved at Austin Mealer's and what all they got going on. So what's going on, Loretta?
Well, just another day right now. Basically, I'm an open book, so whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. And I'm excited to be on. I'm very excited. I've been watching you, Pat, and you, Rich, and Jason. I've been watching all of y'all on LinkedIn, and of course, Josh Solin and Rich Maliki. Huge fans of all of them, all of you guys. And so I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Sweet. So first off, where are you guys located and how long have you guys been in business? Let's start there.
Okay, so we are in Dyersburg, Tennessee, which is about 80 miles north of Memphis. I call it the armpit of Tennessee because if you take Tennessee like this, we're here, Memphis is here. So we got Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi. So we're right here in the armpit. Um, Austin started the business actually in 1997, and it started off just being residential appliances, and just kind of I really feel like I'm leaving so much out just by telling you that, because that's really not how all of it. That's not all of it. Austin and I actually met when we were 18 years old. We met in February of 1987, and we got married in June of 1987, and we had never met each other before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Austin was a dropout. He did not complete school. I barely, by the skin of my teeth, graduated. And about the time Austin asked me to marry him in April, after meeting him in February, my mom's like, "Oh, no, you need to go to college." And I'm like, "You don't understand, Mom. This is April. I'm about to graduate. Everybody that's going to college has already been accepted. That it's too late. I want to be married, period." So we got married. 2 years later, we had our first son, Corey. And at that point, Austin had gotten a job with a furniture and appliance company, and he was delivering furniture for about a week or two. Then he went into the appliances, and right away, the service technician said, "I told y'all 6 months ago I'm retiring. You better get somebody in here because time's ticking." So that person was Austin. And so that's kind of how he got his foot in the door. He had not gone to any kind of formal training. He's very mechanically inclined, very, very smart. So, and I was telling him, I said, "You could do anything you want to do, anything." And so he started believing in himself more and more. So, in 1992, Corey, our first son, was like 3 years old. And I decided, yeah, I do want to go to college. I want to be a nurse. So I went and got my degree in nursing, went to work in 1996. 1997, he had some surgery, didn't really want to go back to where he was, had enough side business. I said, "Start your own business. I'll pay the bills. Just go do your thing." And so he did. That's what happened. March the 3rd, 1997, he started Austin Mealer's Appliance Service Center then. So our Corey, that was our firstborn, graduated high school in 2008. And he said, "Well, I'm going to go to college." He did not even last a semester. And he said, "College is not for me." And I said, "It's fine with me." So he told his dad, he said, "I want to do what you do." Austin said, "Well, residential appliances is not going to support two homes. One day you're going to get married and have a family." So he said, "We'll just start picking up some commercial business." And so that's how it all happened. 2009, they started taking on commercial calls. I think around 2012, 2011, we actually hired 2 technicians besides Austin and Corey. They were in the field. And one of those technicians was actually from Florida. And I believe he worked for 3Wire in Florida. He got in a divorce, and his ex-wife and children moved back to Tennessee. So he wanted to come back to be close to them. And that is when we found out about CFESA. That's when that whole door opened. He was, saying, "I'm a Master Plus, a CFESA certified technician." And I said, "Well, what is that? I don't know what that means. What does that mean?" I had no clue. And so, upon studying about what CFESA is and what it stands for and all that, we joined in 2012, went to our first conference in Orlando in 2012. And felt very overwhelmed at first. Thought that it was a great opportunity, but we really were kind of lost about, what do we do? Do we go to all these different workshops and all that? And so, because of that, Austin and I both, which, as I've already told you, he's very shy. He doesn't like talking in front of people. And so he would come up behind me and he'd say, "You see that person over there? I want to talk to them. Here, go." And he'd push me. And so that's how we met David Hahn and Scott Hester and so many more people. We did make those connections, but we actually didn't go to another conference until 2022. So around 2013, 2013, I believe it's whenever we changed the name from Austin Mealer's Appliance Service Center to Austin Mealer's Restaurant Equipment Service, because we dropped all residential. And so I had been working as a nurse. Like I said, been working as a nurse all this time. And we really didn't go to another CFESA conference until 2022, I think it was, the one in Nashville.
Mhm.
And I don't know, there's something about me. Whenever I believe in something, it just gets all over me, and I cannot help it. That's just the way it is. And the only thing really I can liken it to is when Austin and I met, we were going to church, but we really weren't involved in church. We went to church and then left, and everything was left right there. But when we went back to church back in, I don't know when it was anyway, when we went back in, it was, oh, that's fine. When we went back to church, it's like I was all in. So I went to our pastor and our pastor's wife and said, I want to help. I want to work. I want to do. I just got to. I need to do something to help. And so that's kind of how I felt whenever I got to CFESA in 22. I'm like, I really, really want to do something. I want to get involved. So I joined the Education and Training Committee right off the bat. I met Rusty Park there, and he was the ambassador that I talked to just because he was the first one I saw, and had no clue he was on that committee or co-chaired that committee. And I just went ahead and sat at the table. Everybody else sitting up against the wall, and I'm like, I'm not sitting up against the wall. I'm gonna get at the table. I sat at the head of the table, and they started talking about what their meeting was all about, and I start chiming in, and I'm like, I wasn't supposed to do that. I didn't know that. Nobody told me to shut up, but I was not supposed to participate. But anyway, I joined that. And then Angie Petiti emailed me earlier this year and said, I think you'd be a great ambassador for CFESA. If you're interested in that, I'm going to send you an application. So I said, absolutely. If there is one person that I can help not feel overwhelmed, make them feel welcome, make them feel a part of it, then I want to do that. So that's whenever I started trying to go to all the regional meetings. And so when we were in, last year's conference in San Antonio, the CFESA conference, I had made the statement that I'd really like to run for the board. And I said, I want to be involved. I want to help. And so I was like, if I don't run this year, I definitely want to run next year. Meaning I wasn't sure if I was going to run this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I had so many people tell me, you need to run. So I put my name in the hat, and so I prayed. I said, Lord, I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to win the election, then I want to be on the slate. If I'm not going to win, do not let it happen. Just block it. And whenever Heather called me and said, do you accept this nomination? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. And I knew right then I'm going to win. I didn't know who was going to be on there with me, but every person that was on the slate was a great one. They were all great. But I knew that I was going to win. I was very confident in that. And I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, we're excited to see you on there and see what you're going to do. There's a great group. We got a good president, vice presidents. It's a great board all around, and I'm excited to see what's going to come about it. So you talked about 2022. You went to that training committee meeting and sat back there and just started asking questions. I remember because I was on the training committee. I was sitting in that one. So I remember that one. And I'm a technician. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's my thing. I train partly, but I am a technician. I love fixing things, but I also love teaching, and I love showing off what we do. And I remember sitting in there, and I felt out of place, because there's not very many technicians at the conference. Let's just be honest. It's an expense. It's a pretty big expense. There's a lot of stuff there that technicians won't understand. Like I went and sat. When I went, I was walking around, and Heather, she see me walking and there was something going on, she would like grab my arm and drag me in there. Like I went into a finance thing, and I was learning stuff. I was like, you guys probably don't want me to know this because I'm probably making way too much money to be sitting in this. and to understand how things work, and I know how much money I make, and I learned a lot of great stuff. And it's not that it's not for the technicians; it's just it's an expensive thing. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of cool things, and there's a lot of money that has to go towards paying for that stuff. But if you ever get a chance, a technician, to go to conference or go to a regional meeting, please go. It is one of the greatest things you can ever do. So.
Well, I had talked to Austin whenever we were actually coming back from conference, and I told him, I said, really and truly, this year I want to take, because I don't know that he's going to go to the regional meetings, but I am. And so, and I told him, I said, I want to take some of our technicians and even maybe somebody from the office to the regional meetings. I mean, yeah, you got to pay for the travel there, but the meeting itself is free, and it's only one day. It's not a big deal. And he really liked that idea. And I said, I want our people to understand why I love CFESA so much. And it's very difficult to get that secondhand. But if they get in there and meet the people and hear the things that they offer, I think they'll fall in love with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, and I've said this to multiple people. It's like CFESA does a lot of cool things, and a lot of people don't really know about it, unfortunately. It's kind of like a little industry secret, and I think we need to do a better job getting it out there, you know. Shortly after the 2022 conference, I left the training committee because I was trying to focus on getting the podcast going. And I had way too much going. It was stressing me out, and I wasn't able to commit what I wanted to commit to the CFESA thing, the training committee. So I actually just rejoined the training committee this month, and I'll be back in November. So I'm excited for that, you know, and seeing people like you and other people that like are on the board is giving me hope that like, I want to be a technician on the board. And I don't even know if it's ever happened before. I don't know if they'll let me, but I'm going to try everything I can to get my name up there one day. I don't know how.
I mean, I definitely think you've got a good shot at it. I mean, I don't know why they would not offer that, let that be something that you can do. I don't know why they wouldn't.
It's a goal. I'm going to try it either way. So
do it. Like I said, go for it.
But, so what am I going to say? Your roles has changed at Austin Mealer's over the years. So when you first started, how long were you being a nurse and working in the office? Did you do that for a while, or did you just get one day the whole time up until when?
I hadn't quit yet.
You're still a nurse?
Well, I do nurse, but it's like I don't get paid for it. Like I am like the nurse for the company. Yeah. And I do volunteer at a pregnancy center here. So I'm like the nurse that does the ultrasound and stuff. I hadn't done that in a while, but I am on that list. They've not needed me. So and then I'm a nurse at church. So I've got a whole big old jump bag and everything.
So it's like you're a busy person then.
Oh, yeah, I am.
So what are some of the roles you've had over the years there at Austin Mealer's?
All of them. Except for my name's not Austin. I've done everything from cleaning the toilet, answering the phone, making work orders, filling out warranty paperwork, and submitting that, ordering parts, checking in parts. I've done everything. I've even been on the road with Austin and helped him on calls and stuff. So he finally I'm going to tell you the funny story about why he took me out on the road. Because it's a funny story. So I'm answering the phone and Sonic calls and they're saying our fountainette is down. Well, I've already heard fountainette. And I'm like, in my brain, that's never walked inside of a Sonic, in my brain, I'm like, that's where you go and get your drink. That's fountainette. So Austin said, you need to go with me. And I'm like, okay. So we go work at a Sonic and he points out to me, this is the fountainette. It's all the stuff that goes in their blast. Is that right? Yeah. The blast. Sonic blast, like their ice cream thing. Like put stuff in it, like Reese's Pieces and M&Ms and all. That's a fountainette. And I went, how does that make sense? There is no fountain here. I don't understand. So that was what got it started. But if he had to go work somewhere overnight or something, then I went with him because he would travel like over 2 hours one direction from us. So I would go with him to work and stuff. So I've done everything. Been HR, hire people, fire people. So I had kind of stepped away from the office a little bit. My last job where I was working at that pregnancy center, I started out as their nurse manager. And I was the nurse manager for about a year. And then I became the CEO of that pregnancy center. And I lost that job in 2017, which was very heartbreaking to me. But nonetheless, God has his ideas on what he wants me to do. And sometimes I get in the way of that. So 2017, I come back full time to the office. And in 2021, Austin said, I really need somebody to help me run the business, somebody I trust. It's just too much for me. And I said, I understand. So he reached out to his brother, Jerry. Jerry is a police officer, or was a police officer at the time. And he asked him, he said, you want to come and help me run it? And Jerry was like, yeah, I will. So right after that, I think Jerry started in like July of 2021. And then my sister actually was the first employee ever. She's the first person that got a paycheck. And so he said, I really wish, my sister's name's Lena. I really wish that Lena would come back and help the girl that was the director of operations, help her out, because she says she's far behind and overwhelmed. And so Austin talked to Lena, and in November of 2021, Lena came back. And so that's about the time that the poop hit the fan. And my job changed drastically.
So what happened then?
Well, the girl that worked, I hired her to kind of become me whenever I went to work at the pregnancy center. And I would not let go of the finance part, like payroll. I still did the payroll. I still done the taxes. I paid all the bills and all that stuff. And I didn't want to relinquish that. And so it came to a point when I became the CEO of the pregnancy center, I couldn't do both. I could not. So I started training her on how to do it. Known her for a long time. And we had developed a very close relationship. And so in that, she started taking over that role. And so I had a very small role at this point in the business. And so she wanted to come get the mail from my house. She wanted to get the mail from the office, and she wanted to go get the mail at the post office. And she became pretty obsessed with that. And so when Lena gets hired to help this girl I'm talking about, she still would not relinquish getting the mail. And so I told her, I said, I have already told you that I want Lena to go get the mail. You'd make too much money to be running to the post office and to my house. I want you here. I want you working, and let Lena do it. So that's what happened. Well, this girl that I'm talking about started missing a lot of work. And so in doing that, Lena got the mail, and she about had a fit. She opened up a piece of mail from the the Department of Revenue, and said that we owed over $500,000 in sales tax.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like to fell on the floor.
Crap.
I about fell on the floor. And so I told Lena right then and there, I said, you get on the phone with everybody, make sure our payroll taxes are paid. And because obviously sales tax haven't been paid, and they'll come after you for sales tax faster than they'll come after you for anything else. Because get on the phone, make sure payroll taxes are done, the unemployment, make sure all the stuff is done, and investigating all of that. She embezzled a lot of money too.
Mhm.
She didn't pay our bills, didn't pay our taxes. It wiped out our entire savings account. I mean, like we were back to eating bologna sandwiches again. It's like me and him were newlyweds again. Just trying to throw all the money we could at this mess that she's made. And I married her in my backyard. I'm a ordained minister, and
Wow.
I actually performed her wedding at my house. Me and Austin were there when her 2 children were born as grandparents, because when she introduced us to people, she'd say, "This is my other set of parents." And
Wow.
so, yeah, Austin was very devastated. He was he was so upset, and I was just so mad. I was so mad. I mean, it took me a long time to not be mad.
That's heartbreaking. I mean, you wouldn't expect that. I mean, it's terrible.
And people have said to me, are you still going to be like you used to be towards your employees? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's my heart. I can't help it. Did my heart get ripped out? Yeah, it did. But that doesn't mean everybody's going to rip out my heart. And I don't know how else to be.
And that's what I was getting ready to ask you, because obviously, besides just kind of seeing how you guys are on LinkedIn, I've talked to Dustin, and he's told me, how you guys are. You guys have a huge heart for, your team members, even beyond, work. Like he's told me that you guys have, helped team members that you knew were in need in their personal lives, and you guys, give them a quote, like I call it a $500 handshake or whatever. Like you guys really have a heart for your people. And it's hard for people to have that heart that y'all have for people, period. But then especially going through something like that and still having that heart for people. So what is it that keeps y'all, with that heart and that caring, despite being, screwed so bad?
The love of God that's shed abroad in our heart. It's the simplest way to put it. Jesus forgives us, and we forgive others, and our prayers can't be answered if we don't do that. So that's why.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been asked that question a lot, how are you going to deal with that? Because we didn't publicize. I mean, if you looked on Facebook, you would have never seen anything change. Nothing looked any different. Only if you were in our core group did you know about it. But because I don't want to slander her.
Mhm.
Even though I wanted to slam her back then. um, I I don't want to say anything negative about her, because really and truly, I still love her,
Mhm.
even though she hurt us and betrayed us in every way. She betrayed us and cost us a lot of money. But like I said, what you see is what you get. I mean, I don't know how to be fake. I don't know how to be anything other than what I am. So, that's just who we are. And Austin he was really blessed. That man that owned that furniture and appliance company that Austin worked at, he was a great mentor to Austin, and he was a Christian man, and he showed Austin a lot of things about business. And I'd never really had that great of bosses before, especially in nursing. I mean, I've been cussed out and stuff chunked at me in front of patients, and all that. And so I'm like, I don't want to do that. And so I want to treat people with respect. I want to show people that I truly care. I mean, it's not just something I'm saying. Uh, as a matter of fact, I said this the other day. I said, we have a saying in Tennessee: don't just talk about it, be about it. So I'm not talking about it, I'm being about it. So
we've got a couple of comments. One to Brad real quick, and it's a friend of ours, Ray Bartolomucci. He says it's very evident they have a special heart, company culture for their people. Amazing team and great leaders. Truly one of a kind company. Much love from the Rue team. And that's awesome. And I've been following you guys for a while. Me and you are friends on Facebook, and every day you put out your Bible verse. And when I was a kid, I used to go to church all the time. It was forced on me. And I grew up Catholic, and it's something I didn't want to do it because it was forced. It never was. But seeing people like you guys put stuff out there, and Rich, he's a blue collar guy, but he's involved in church, and Jason's the same way. And it's made me think, about maybe getting more involved in a church and getting more involved in that kind of thing. And it's really cool to see that, you guys are putting it out there and showing it for everybody to see.
Well, be careful, Pat, because I'm a preacher too, so you might want to hold off.
I'm just gonna say, without getting too, in that direction, it's less about the getting involved in a church and more about literally just getting a relationship with God. So if you wanted my advice, I would say grab a Bible, and not a King James Bible, a modern Bible that you can actually understand. Start reading in the Gospels. Don't try to make sense of it. Just read it and then see what happens from there. That's my advice.
I appreciate that.
I do agree with that. Yeah, the Old Testament's a little difficult to understand, and definitely King James is, me and my dad have arguments. They're very, very tender arguments. They're not toxic arguments, but he's a King James only person, and I'm like, I can't understand it, so I might as well not be reading anything at all because I don't understand it. I'm in here trying to translate. It'd be like if it was all in Spanish, and I took Spanish for 2 years in high school, and I know maybe 5 words. So, I'm like, I want to read it where I can understand it, where it'll get down on the inside of me. But yeah, absolutely. And that's, one thing, what Rich said is true, Pat. I mean, God, when he created people, and I promise you I'm not going to preach, but when God created Adam and Eve in the garden, he created a family, and that's what he wanted, was a family. And so that's what it's all about. It's a relationship with God. I mean, you say God is your father, Jesus is your elder brother. So, and you call each other brother and sister in church. So it's all about family. It's all about that relationship. And I'll stop there, I promise.
You're good. You're good. So let's get back.
Also, don't let the douchebags discourage you, because people suck.
So let's get back to Austin Mealer's restaurant equipment. How many technicians are you guys up to currently?
16 or 17.
16 or 17. So you guys have a pretty good technician. I'm a big fan of his, and I was a fan of his before he won the award. But let's talk about Zach Hampton.
Let's talk about Zach Hampton.
Zach was our guest. He was a guest a couple weeks ago, and he's a really cool guy. He started off by luck. It sounds like he just the right place, the right time. Austin seen something in him, brought him in, and took a chance. And he's just everything you guys throw at him. He's just killing it.
He's slaying it. He's doing great. But I'm going to tell you, I've got a lot of good technicians. I cannot say enough good things about our guys. I just can't. And that's one thing about Zach and his leadership style is he tries to almost clone himself. He doesn't hold back whenever he's training. If he finds something that works, then he's showing it to him. And he's doing a Marco Polo. And he's the Marco Polo king, I'll tell you. So, because that's how he communicates with all the guys. So anyway, yeah, he is great, and he has come a long way. He was eager to learn and like all in, and it's just been he's been great. He's been great. Very, very team oriented. Very team oriented.
What's cool for me is this. So like you say, you got a lot of great guys, but one thing I've learned, not just watching you guys, but talking with you and talking with Austin, you give them reasons, to be great. And like when I shared the post that you were coming on, I said, you guys are giving me perspective that's outside the norm. And like one of the things you guys told me that blew my mind, I had messaged, I don't remember if it was you or Austin, but I was like, hey, I see that you send some text to training and they look pretty young. Like that was you? And I was like, how long are you waiting before you send texts to training? And you were like, we send them right away. You're like, we've sent texts that have been with us 2 weeks to training. And I'm like, how? Like most companies want you there 6 months to a year because it's an investment. And you told me flat out, you're like, people especially younger generation, they want to know that you actually believe in them and that you're giving them, something to look forward to. And I think you guys told me that out of everybody you've sent to training, you've had only a handful leave shortly after, and you guys are like, they weren't going to fit anyway. So it doesn't even matter that they left, because if they didn't leave, you guys would have gotten rid of them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that it's very important that they see that you value them and see something in them. And just like the conference is not cheap, training at CFESA is not cheap. And I let them know. I let them know up front. This is how much the class cost. This is how much your airfare cost. This is how much your hotel cost. And then I have them sign a 1-year agreement saying that they're not going to leave. And if they do leave, that it'll be I don't know what it's called, but whatever's left on what they owe, they have to pay me back. And so but I have very rarely had that happen. It's just happened just a few times. But yeah, you show them that you've got confidence in their ability, and then you explain to them, this is doing nothing but adding to your future here, because the more you know, the more you do, the more you make money. The advancement is there. You can be anywhere you want if you just go to training. And I've never had anybody tell me no, ever. So, yeah, I mean, I hired 3 guys right out of is McKinsey's VOTEC or vocational school, whatever y'all call it, technical school. 19 years old, all 3 of them, 19 years old. And they're out there learning. Let's see, I think they started with me in September, and I had them at new technician training within a month. And they said,
Yeah, I think my son met a couple of them.
Yeah, your son was there when Sam and Jackson were there. Jackson had only been with us like for 5 minutes. I mean, literally, he was not with us no time. And his eyes got this big around. He goes, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm serious." And I told him, I said, "What you're going to do is you're going to go there. I said, you're going to be a sponge. You absorb everything you can, learn as much as you can." I said, "Because when you get back, you're going to be with a universal tech, and you're going to be putting to use what you've learned. You're going to do that for about 6 months. Then I'm going to send you to EGSW." And he's like, "Okay." So yeah, they are all excited about it, all of them. So yeah,
that's cool. That's my youngest son's working with me now. Both my boys are here, and I want to get him sent off to some new tech training here soon. I may wait and just send him off to EGSW. His brother did EGSW and learned a lot. He was learning a lot working with me, but working with your dad and then going to work somewhere, going to learn from somewhere else, different styles, a completely different eye opener. And it did him a lot of good. He came back and he had a different perspective, and he had a different outlook on everything. And he's been killing it since. So CFESA does a lot of good things. It's a really good organization, a really cool place.
absolutely. I believe in CFESA. I believe in their mission statement, their vision statement. They're always looking ahead, seeing what's coming down the pike, and then they organize training that goes around that. So yeah, I'm very excited. They've got an electrical book that's going to be coming out probably around the first of the year. That's in the LMS system, and it is going to be amazing. And after that one comes out, they've got gas, steam, and refrigeration coming right after it. So it's going to be great. That way they can, if something changes, like we'll say a type of Freon changes, they can change it right there, and it automatically changes across the platform. Everybody has that update instantly. So I love that, because the books that they people had those, how the tech train, whatever they're called, very poorly written and out of date.
Oh yeah,
very much out of date, and they're not helpful. So I'm glad that CFESA took the initiative to do that, to create this book, put this book together, and I'm excited to see it when it comes out.
I like it being a living document that you can change all the time and update and bring new practices and standards in. our industry is like every other industry where it's changing, it's evolving so fast, so rapidly. You can't keep up with it.
No, you're right. Absolutely. That is the truth. I mean, everything changes so quickly.
So you were elected to board of directors. When does that take effect? The first of the year? I'm not sure. Like it's
Right now,
so it's immediately since conference it's on.
it's on.
That's
I got
on.
my first. I got my invitation for my first Zoom meeting as a director. My first meeting will be November the 13th.
Nice.
Love
So,
it.
so they got a new agenda. I've seen a little bit about it. Can you explain this 33?
Oh yeah, I can. Absolutely. So the 33 times 33 is we want to have 33,000 certifications, like the training, like the new technician training, all that. 33,000 of those certificates given by the year 2033. So that's what that is. And they're trying to get all the numbers worked out. Right now, it looks like we're sitting at about 10% by meeting that goal. But I really think it's going to be more than that, because they've got to go back and go from when it first started, the trainings first started. But we're well on our way. Absolutely. It's exciting.
I know they're really ramping up training. So they're doing some remote training. They're bringing some of the because it used to a lot. Dan does a lot there at CFESA, but it used to be a lot more people involved before they brought Dan in full time. I know they're bringing back a lot of people, and they're going to start doing like the remote sessions out. I know they're doing some stuff in California, or they just did some stuff in California. I know refrigeration used to be twice a year, and it's up to 4 times this year. So
Yes.
I'm doing it this week, and Chris is doing the following week, and he did 2 weeks earlier in the year. Chris is local, so he's doing a lot more. So I know they're really ramping up the amount of classes they're having, and so it's going to be really cool to see. I'm excited. It's a great opportunity for people to learn, for new guys to get into the industry and to learn a trade and feel involved. It's cool.
It is cool. And that's that kind of plays into my why. Right there. That is a lot of my why. Why am I in this? Why am I in this industry, and why I want to be part of CFESA? And it is because literally you could take someone, even if they're a high school dropout, but if they're mechanically inclined and you train these people, no matter where they are in life, if you train them, you give them the tools and the knowledge to be able to use it, give them the opportunity to use it, the sky's the limit for these people. So, like, I've got a technician right now that I don't think that his parents or grandparents own their own home. And since working for us and making the money he makes, he bought a house, he's bought 2 new vehicles, he's got married, he's had a baby, he's gone on vacation, and that's my why. I mean,
Yep.
just improving the whole lifestyle of people, and I love it.
When I didn't start off in the industry, I started off as an electrician, and my dad, he did HVAC and kind of worked his way into this. The company he worked for, he actually worked for Jeremy Allen's dad, and they sold, and he didn't want to be a part of Ecolab taking over that, and he left and got me his job. And I never thought I'd do this. And if I look back 18 and a half years ago, like what I started off and what I thought of this and where I am now, is like I never could imagine this. But you have to take ownership for yourself too. You can only rely on your employer for so much. You're going to, if you want to be outstanding technician, you're going to do some things on your own. I'm sure Zach does things on his own. I know Rich does things on his own. He started his own company. He's still learning on his own. He's still reaching out. He's building relationships with manufacturers, but he's still doing things on his own. If you want to be that top tier technician, you can't just rely on Austin Mealers. You can't just rely on General Parts. You can't just rely on the Rock Services. You're going to have to take ownership in yourself. But if you have people behind you that are willing to help you and help you find that stuff you want to do on your own, it makes a world of difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. It does. That was one of the things about Zach that I I had made mention of is that he watches so many videos and about different training things that, and then he's working up the curriculum that he uses when he's training our in-house guys. He had done that so much that his daughter, I'm thinking she was like in the 8th grade. I can't really remember. I think she's like a junior or senior in high school now. But he had one of the tests that he was going to give like the following day to the technicians. And she said, I'm going to take the test. And she took it and passed the test. And so that's, I'm like, and she's very mechanically inclined too. And so, yeah, I mean, she'd be a great technician, and Austin's tried to talk her into it, but I don't think that's where she wants to be. I think she wants to be a nurse. I think that's right.
I never thought my boys would be here. I say this all the time. My oldest son, he just turned 22, but he was 20 years old, bought a house. He's bought a brand new Bronco. I mean, he's engaged. He's got just as much money in the bank as me almost. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I know. It's great. It is great.
Yeah, it is.
I love seeing people win like that. And, I can remember really, really well is the very first instant that it dawned on me. Oh my gosh. We had a guy come to us that wanted to buy a new truck. And so he goes to Austin and he said, is my job secure? And Austin said, yeah, you think about leaving? And he's like, no, I'm thinking about buying a new truck. I just need to know if I'm going to have a job. And Austin said, go buy that truck. So I don't know who was more excited, us or him, but it just thrilled our heart to know that we're able to pay him enough that he could go buy a brand new truck. So it just thrills my heart.
That's cool. That's a cool story. So Zach, he's gonna do some more stuff with CFESA. I see. I know he did the trainer, and he's wanting to get more involved. I look forward to seeing his growth and development. He's like me, except he gets to train a lot more. It seems like with you guys. We've been way understaffed, and it's just kind of been like I got to work, and we're getting our numbers back up, and I'm looking forward to doing more training and getting to develop guys. I always say that people, like, oh, you want to train? I'm like, well, it's more than that. I want to make an impact to people's lives. I want to make a difference. I want people to see that if you do this and if you take the time and show some passion, you can be something else. And I think Zach has that same output. He knows what the chance that was given to him, and he wants to give someone else that chance, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He does. That's why he doesn't hold back. If he finds an app that helps do something, he is right on it. He's telling all the other guys about it. And yes, he does. He wants to take the guys that have been to training and kind of put them under his wing and show them this is how you learn this during NTT training. So now I know you can do this right here. So I want you to do this. Let me watch you and you do this. And so, he does hold them accountable, but he does want to help them too. And he tells them, you can be anything you want to be. If you want more pay, you need to learn more, learn more, do more. And we definitely give him that opportunity. Actually, I think he's going to go to EGSW in December as a guest at that to be CFESA certified. You gave that to me, didn't you, Pat? Made me mess my whole words up.
I took 1 week off and I can't do anything. So it's bad. I forgot what I was doing. I was like, how do I turn this camera on again? So it's all right. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
So how big of an area do you guys cover in Western Tennessee?
Laws, I'm going to tell you. Number one, you really need to know some geography here, but Mississippi River, Nashville. So we go from the Mississippi River to Dixon, which is right outside of Nashville. And then we cover all of that part of Tennessee, all of West Tennessee, part of Middle Tennessee. We go up into Kentucky, this southeast Missouri, and then parts of Arkansas and parts of Mississippi.
So you guys are all over the place, then.
Dang.
Huh? Oh, the Boot Hill. Yeah, the Boot Hill. The Boot Hill, Missouri. Southeast Missouri. It's the Boot Hill.
I'm trying to work out a time where I can come down to Coalpack, and if I do, I'm gonna make sure I come down and see you guys. I'm gonna make a trip out of it, take a week, and I want to sit through Jay's class. I want to interview Jay. I want to see the facility. I want to show some of that stuff on social media. I was super excited when he talked about building a facility, and I think it's a great thing he does.
Oh, absolutely.
Coalpack is killing it over there. I just see the class fills up. It's 25 people every single time, and he's just filling it up. So I'm gonna try to get down there. I want to see it firsthand. I want to show it off, put it on social media, and then I want to come see you all, and just do a little. I'll take a week and make just a trip out of it. But I will make sure I
get Austin on camera when you go there.
Good luck.
She's 100%.
We're smiling like Sophie.
I remember at a conference that he was standing behind her, and he'd lean over and say something to her, and then off she'd go. I'm like, this is great.
Yes. So we won middle size business of the year this year through our Chamber of Commerce. So somebody nominated us, and then like a third party outside of our area decided who would win. And he looked at me and he said, I am not talking in front of these people. And I'm like, I already know. So that's the first thing I said when I got up there. I said, I do apologize. It's me talking. I said, but he does not talk in front of people. Now he'll talk like if Zach has a class going, he'll go over there and talk to them because he knows everything about what they're talking about, and it's his guys and all that kind of stuff. So he doesn't mind doing that, but talking in front of strangers, he said, I don't know how you do it. And I said, it don't bother me a bit. I've talked in front of 500-600 people. It's just like talking to y'all.
I don't know how I got involved doing the podcast. I opened my mouth and inserted my foot, but I'm not a talkative person. I changed a lot the last few years.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it takes a lot to get used to. That's another one of my goals. I want to do like some speaking and stuff and talk about the industry. And that's just really morphed into just showing off our industry and highlighting great people in it. I mean, no one knows we exist unless you're in our industry or someone that directly does it. Outside the general public, no one has any idea that these restaurants, that stuff breaks. You think about your house. Most of the time, your stuff at the house doesn't break. If it breaks, you just buy a new one. Well, you're not doing that with a $50,000-$60,000 oven or, a walk-in cooler is, if you got to rebuild a walk-in cooler, you're talking $80,000, tearing down the walls. I mean, it's not an easy, and I'm not saying a home appliance, buying a home appliance is an easy thing for people, but it's not like anything like that. So
it's a whole nother animal. Yeah.
People just don't really realize we exist. And I'm just trying to show us off and grow it. I mean, I've had a lot of people reach out to me like, hey, I've decided to leave HVAC and go do this. I was a plumber, or, I wanted to do a trade I didn't know what I was going to do. And I started doing this and I love it. I'm like, those kind of messages make it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, people do need to know what we're doing. And I think that there are some things coming down the pike for CFESA to kind of get our industry more in the forefront for people to get, find out, hey, this is something that we can do. I mean, I don't care what happens. You're always going to have some refrigeration. You're always going to have something to cook on or with, and all that. So, I mean, it's not like, COVID couldn't even shut us down.
We got busier. It was wild. We got busier.
We did too. We grew a lot.
Look at Chick-fil-A. Like, they had their biggest boom ever during COVID. Like, it's probably the reason why they're modeled the way they are now, that, double drive-throughs, everybody's outside, hardly ever, you don't see a lot of people inside. You see that line wrapped around the building, and you got your food and out the door in 5 minutes, and that line was like around the building. I'm like, there's 40 cars here. How do they do this? But
I know, right?
It's a wild thing. So that's cool.
It is. So, I just know that there's always going to be a need for this, for this industry. And so, yeah, I want people to know it. I mean, I think I heard a statistic the other day that for every one person retiring. No, it was for every 5. There was only one person to take their place.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that is scary. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
scary.
Mhm.
There's new restaurants every day popping up, new schools, new hospitals, new nursing homes, and it's just,
Yes.
we're aging out, and then we're being outpaced. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. As a matter of fact, at CFESA, I was talking to Zach and I said, I want to ask you a question, see if you think this is even possible. And he said, well, what's that? And I said, do you think it'd be very hard for us to like build a curriculum around our industry since it's not offered anywhere? And he said, I don't think that'd be very hard at all. Of course, we'd have to get accredited and all that stuff, but that might be something coming down the pike. So,
I've thought about doing that myself. I thought about it's like, because I enjoy training, and I was like, man, maybe I ought to just create my own curriculum and just like get accredited and just start teaching it, just making it, seeing what I could do. But I think we should rely on CFESA right now and see what we can build with them and go through them.
absolutely.
I've had I've had a lot of people from CFESA on. I've had Josh on a couple times. We had Nick Cribb on. We've had you on, and I always enjoyed having board members on talk about CFESA because it's just like our industry. It's a pretty little well kept secret. They do a lot of good things. There's a member section in there, and there's stuff in there I had no idea was in there. And I was like, why don't you guys talk about this? It's just like we're our own worst enemy. It's like let's shut this off, guys.
I know. That was one of the things I had because I was the co-chair of the Education Training Committee. I had to give the committee update at the conference. And so I told them, I said, hey, y'all listen. I said, if you go into folders on the CFESA website, go all the way over. And I said, there's the tech career path. I said, that is customizable for you. You can customize that any way you want to. And I was trying to explain to them what that means. The reason why there is a tech career path. And I said, you've got a technician that's in Oregon that's a CFESA technician, and he's a level 4 or she is a level 4 technician, and they want to come to Tennessee to another CFESA company. And they say, I'm coming from Oregon and I'm a level 4 CFESA technician. I know what I'm getting. I know this person knows how to read a gauge, knows how to put Freon in, knows how to pull a vacuum and all that stuff. So to me, that's important for the continuity of the industry. But anyway, I told them that everything is just a secret. It's really not tried. No one's trying to keep it a secret. It's just not out there.
Yeah, that's why I think we could do a better job getting the information out there that we actually have as an organization. Yeah, when I left the committee, when I had to resign for a little bit, that's what they were working on, was that career path thing. It was big then, and they were really putting in a lot of effort into defining that. And I think the problem is you have these big mega companies like I work for, and then you have smaller companies like you guys, and our career path is different than your career path, but we still need to set a standard that this is what, like you said, level 4 or level 3 or a master tech, this is what they should be able to do. And that was the part that, everybody could agree on. But now how do we get those technicians to that level is the thing I think everyone was splitting hairs on.
Right. Yeah. Well, I definitely think that going to all the trainings at CFESA is number one. Of course, that's my goal. That's my passion. I'm a believer, and there's nobody that can convince me otherwise. I just believe in it. I will spend the money. I will send the people, and then everybody wins. CFESA wins. My person that I've sent wins. Our business wins. So our customer wins. So it's a win all the way around. So that is my goal, is I want everybody to go, and I want people in the office to be able to go. And that's one of the things I said in the education training committee is I know that there is a lot of training the majority of the training is actually focused on the technician, but there's also an office that has to know what they're doing. They need some training too. I mean, it's the same logistics across the board for a person that's dispatching. So teach them the steps. What do you have to know? What's the skill set for that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know there's some like mid-level management training. I'm not sure what all they offer for office training. I really haven't looked into it, and shame on me. I know there's a trainer. I know there's some management training. I'm not sure what else they offer as far as that goes.
I think that is the only thing that they offer other than technician training is the middle management. And actually, we sent Zach and my sister Lena and Austin's brother Jerry. We sent them to that training.
That's
So
cool.
I'm gonna send our son Corey to that training next year. Oh yeah, Haley went too. My dispatcher went. I sent her this year back in January. So I'm gonna send Corey next year to that training.
So EC to Fix, he asked if he said he recently asked Robert Parrish if he had any plans to update the electrical tech training manual. He said no. I wonder if CFESA does. We were talking about that earlier, and she actually brought up that they're rewriting a electrical manual, and it's going to be a live document that when they update it, it's going to force that out. So, yeah, you may have missed that part, EC. But yeah, there's a new electrical manual that's going to come out, and it's going to be a live document. I'm really looking forward to that because you make a change, and it's pushed out to everybody right away. So.
Well, I believe that CFESA reached out to the man that wrote the tech train books and tried to buy the copyrights, and he wouldn't let them. So,
Nice.
I think that's the reason why they went ahead and started on that electrical book that's going to be in the LMS system.
Nice.
So,
if you had any words of someone that wanted to, come into this industry or was thinking about joining this industry or coming from, maybe an office job or a factory job, they wanted to come over and say they came to Austin Mealer's, you guys were looking for an entry-level tech, what would you tell them if they came over?
What would I tell, like someone that's never had anything at all to do with this?
Yep.
Basically what I've just said is the sky's the limit. I mean, here you are. If you don't know anything, let's go ahead. Let's jump into NTT, get your feet wet on that. Let's put you in a truck with Universal Tech, let you see how that goes, see how our work flows, how we do things, and then let you continue to get more information. Of course, naturally during the fall and winter, we have class twice a week. Zach is teaching 2 classes a week. He does one for our apprentices. He does one for our universal techs. And so absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to leave anybody out. I mean, if they show up, they got their foot in the door if they just show up for an interview.
That's great. That's great. And I didn't realize you guys did all the continuing education for the universal techs. That's really cool because, a lot of places, once you're universal or you're that level, it's just like, oh, okay. Unless it's something new and drastic change comes out, you're just kind of like, oh, go fix it. I mean, but you guys are still investing in those guys that have been there for years and years and years. And that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach is our second or third oldest tech. When I say oldest tech, I mean been with us the longest. And so, yeah, we don't stop just because you've reached a certain level. There's always room to grow. I mean, now we've got robotics coming out and AI and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you got to keep learning. If you're not learning, you're not growing. And we want you to grow. Here's some fertilizer. Let me help you. Here's a little water and here's some sunshine. So let's keep growing.
That's great. So we are coming up on an hour, and I know we could sit here all night, but we're going to kind of start dwindling this down. If people wanted to find out more information about Austin Mealer's, where can they find that information at?
Well, we have a website, but it's pretty generic. I hate to say, but it is pretty generic. It is www.austinmealer.com, and Austin is AUSTONMEALER.com. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Facebook. You might find us on Instagram, but there is nobody monitoring Instagram because I know nothing about Instagram and I really don't want to. So You can find us on Facebook or LinkedIn.
I think I tried tagging you guys and it didn't come up, or it was like it hadn't been posted on in a long time, so I didn't tag it because I didn't know if it was legit or not.
It's legit. I had a girl that was part of her job was to have put things on Instagram for us. Because literally I'm like, I could really care less about it. I don't really care. So, anyway, she created it. I didn't know. I don't even know the password. I don't know how to get into it. So, that's how it is. So Instagram's just kind of floating around out there.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of cool tradesmen on Instagram. There's like a really big trades community on Instagram. I mean,
Really?
there's an awards ceremony that is based strictly on Instagram for trades. It's
Really?
Yeah, it's HVAC Tactical. It's a brand, it's a lifestyle, it's a community he's built. Ben Poole's put together, and he does it's called the HVAC Tactical Awards, and he does it the Sunday before AHR every year. And there's a list of categories you can nominate someone that's in the trades and they're making a difference. And it's pretty cool.
I may have to try it out then. Maybe
you find someone that likes Instagram and pawn it off on them, or see if they'll do it for you. It's fun. And it's a lot different than Facebook. Facebook can be kind of like you get in a group of Facebook and you don't know what's going to happen. You post something and people are just like, I don't know, it's toxic. But Instagram doesn't seem to be like that. Instagram is pretty. There's occasionally somebody, but if they come in with that attitude on Instagram, generally, like your friends will shut them down pretty fast and run them off.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to look into it. I stay on LinkedIn way more than I stay on Facebook. I do my devotion in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee. That's when I post my Bible verse and all that stuff. And then after that, I'm done unless I've got something that I want to post on there. But yeah, I don't surf it anymore.
It's bad sometimes.
Yeah, it gets real bad real quick.
There's days if I didn't do what I do, I wouldn't have Facebook anymore. Honestly, like, man, it's crazy. So
yeah, all right, over there myself.
I will tag your guys' website. I will link to your LinkedIn and everything. We put this out there. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk about, your why, the reasons, and everything you guys do over there. You guys are killing it. I always look forward to seeing when you guys post someone getting a certificate or getting an award or something. It's really cool to see the pride you take in your technicians and what you guys are building over there. So I really appreciate it.
We didn't even talk about our partnership with the Department of Labor.
Oh yeah, well, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. I don't even know how that came about, but that was another thing that I kind of inherited after the girl done her thing. And so I wanted to be in on the training when she was getting trained on how to do it, but she wouldn't let me know when it was and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I learned how to do it, and it was great. It has been great. So actually it was in 2023, I think. In April 2023, we had a whole graduation ceremony for all of our guys that earned their journeyman certificate in refrigeration. And so that journeyman certificate works all across the United States of America. It's something they earn. And we got that through the state of Tennessee. They also will help provide some pay relief for us. Like if I have someone that is 18 to 24, if I hire them on, whether it's in the office or a technician, that somebody's wanting to learn how to be a technician, they will pay for the first 6 months of their training. They pay for it, not me.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was like, what is that?
I grabbed my arm on the mouse pad and it clicked it.
But so anyway, they pay for the first 6 months of their training with us. And at that point, if we want to hire them on, we have that option. But if we don't want to, then they can go their own separate way. And then we have OJT, and they pay a percentage of the first 320 hours that they work. The 3 boys I was talking about that I got from the vocational school that I hired all at the same time, they were on the summer youth experience program, and they covered 100% of their expenses throughout the summertime. And then, like I said, we had the option of hiring them, and we hired all 3 of them at the end of it. So it's a benefit to us, and it's a benefit to them as well, because they're getting paid to learn, you know. So I really love this program. It's great. They have a reentry program too. So if someone has like a justice involvement, like been arrested for some reason, they will pay like 100% of their wages up to so many hours if you give someone an opportunity to work that might have a record that keeps them from getting another job somewhere. So I'm
cool.
very, very happy with that. I mean, that's like a little hidden treasure. Again, I don't know how we come across it, but I'm gonna say it was a divine connection somewhere, somehow. Oh, you found it? Austin said he found it.
Is that in every state, or is that just a Tennessee thing?
I'm gonna say it's in every state, because the Tennessee Department of Labor is, of course, working directly with the United States Department of Labor. Their certificate says United States Department of Labor. It doesn't say Tennessee. So I'm going to say it's every state must have that. They may not have that exact program, but I think they'll have something that would be comparable to.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, interesting.
I know there's also some opportunities, like if you hire veterans as well. That's a whole different thing. But you know, looking into that would be something. Jason Holman told me about that a few years ago, and I've neglected to look into it. It's still in my noggin, but I have not moved forward with it yet. So, anyway,
that's cool. That's a pretty cool program, because that helps offset. You know, and you're running a business, and training is a huge financial, I don't want to say burden, but it's a huge financial risk you're taking, because what if it doesn't work out, or what if, you know, something happens, you know, who knows what's going to happen. It's a huge risk you're taking, but that little bit of assistance makes it a little easier for you guys to invest and take that chance with somebody.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
I did not get to reply to, was it Ray that said something earlier?
Yeah, it was Ray Bartolomucci.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. I can bring it back up. That's
Yeah.
Ray right there.
Right. Yes. Much love to Ray and David and all the Roof team. I love those guys. They are amazing. They're awesome. And I do. I love them. Thank you, Ray.
They are great guys. Yeah.
Run repairs?
Huh?
You guys run repairs, or?
No, not right now. We don't. I've talked to them about it, and you know, we need some more things implemented before we do. So I am on the advisory board for them, with them, but I love their product. I do, and I've got a lot of faith that is really going to be what everybody's going to want is repairs.
I'm just going to say, wait till the end of Q1 of next year. The stuff they got lined up, game changer.
I've heard a little bit about it, so I'm excited.
We're going to have to bring them back on, have them talk about it then, Rich. You can't just be saying that. So when it gets closer to time, we're going to have to get Ray, maybe his brother, on too, and talk about it.
Yeah.
They're really good guys. I met them at conference 2022, and we've been friends ever since. And you know, they didn't know me from anybody. They just knew I was a technician. Like, hey, look at this. What do you think? I was like, this is actually, you know, pretty cool. I was like, I like this. It flows easy. I can log in. I can jump around. I was like, this is so much more intuitive. And, you know, today he made a post, and I was like, man, and it was true. I was like, man, a happy technician is productive technician. I was like, but when I'm spending time logging in and out of 2 or 3 different things for one call, it is so frustrating. It's such a burden. And then I'm relying on someone else to give me the correct information. If I don't have the correct information where I can't log in, then it's my fault that I didn't log in, but I don't have the correct information. So how can I log in? It's just, and that drives me nuts. And I've talked to them in the past about how they're integrating in with, you know, Service Channel and other things. I'm like, man, if you guys can get all this integration stuff figured out, I said, you guys will shut everybody else down.
100%.
Yep. I'm a big believer in what they've got going on. Right now we use House Call Pro.
Okay.
And so it works fine for us. It's not perfect, but it works fine for us. And we did get in on that early, so the price point was not, humongous whenever we signed on. But yeah, we've already taken the little test drive with repairs and all that. And I'm very thankful. Like, David does not hound me about, when are you going to sign on? When are you going to sign? He's never asked that.
Yeah.
Brian says, make Austin pop in and say hi.
Here he comes.
Thanks. He's going to face.
Okay, here you go.
Hi guys,
Good to see you, Austin.
Hey.
I'm here in the
He's
back.
That's awesome.
My moral support, my cheering section.
That's right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to call it a night.
Okay.
I've got 10 hours driving tomorrow, and I still got to pack a little bit because I'm a procrastinator, believe it or not. But I really appreciate you coming on, and Austin in the background supporting. We're huge fans of what you all do for your technicians, the industry, and now CFESA. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with the board and that kind of thing. So, and I'm sure when I get on this training committee, I'm sure we'll be having some more talks and some stuff, it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. I look forward to it. I do. I look forward to it. It's just, I'm excited about what's coming down the pike and helping. That is what I want to do. I want to help. I want to really, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what I said real quick before we get off here. So whenever I filled out my intent to run for the board, I said, they asked the question, you have to fill out this questionnaire. And they said, tell us why you feel the way you feel towards CFESA. I'm just making up some words here. That's kind of what they were asking. And I said, actually, I want people to know what CFESA is and what the value in CFESA. And my thing was, I love you too, Matt. Mwah! So anyway, I was like, if I go and I say, this is my car, and you're going to go, yeah, okay, it's a car. But if I say to you, this is my Lamborghini, it gets a little more respect. There's a little bit more oomph to that. And that's what I want CFESA to be, is the Lamborghini. That's what I want.
Nice.
Yes.
So on that note, have a good night, everybody.
All right,
Bye.
y'all.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. We appreciate you making it to the end of the show. If you would, make sure you hit subscribe, you like, and you rate and review the show. It really helps us grow and lets us know which direction we need to go. Also, if you'd like to be a guest or you know someone that would be a great guest for the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, have them DM us or send us an email at pat@commercialkitchenchronicles.com. Thanks for your support, guys.